Assalamu alaikum. This your brother Alfonso X, Nationtown TV, live here with brother Landon X Collins. Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Wa alaikum salam, soldier. How's the brother?
Man, I'm doing fine, beloved. How you doing?
And I'm fine by Allah's grace. Ready to get it in.
Yes, sir. I'm ready. We waiting on that beautiful
Sir, yes, sir.
introduction, brother. Come on with it.
All to Allah. Y'all know how we do it. Nationtown TV, live, special edition with my brother, Alfonso X, better known as Malcolm Flex. Come on now. We
Yes,
doing it
sir.
again. The topic today, you know, we do it Nationtown, which is, of course, inspired by beloved Western Regional Student Minister Tony Muhammad. Quick shameless plug. We're gonna have a double dose of Nationtown TV tomorrow evening. We will be with Minister Tony discussing not only the final call of the story, but also dealing with the revolution of marriage, particularly black marriage. But you know how we do it. This is all about genuine truth, broadcasted to the people with no cuts, no stepped on, no Pyrex, no baking soda. Straight up truth. Nationtown TV with my brother Alfonso X, also known as Malcolm Flex. Go ahead, there, brother.
All praises due to Allah. First, I would like to open in the name of Allah who appeared to us in the person of Master Fard Muhammad. I also like to bear witness that the most honorable Elijah Muhammad is his last and greatest messenger and exalted Christ. And I also like to bear witness that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is a divine warner, servant, and teacher in our midst. And I would like to greet you all, the viewers, with the greeting words of peace and paradise of Assalamu alaikum. Just wondering if they all can hear me. Brother Landon, you still there?
Yeah, I'm still.
Yes, sir. So we are titling this video Nation The Hidden Hand by Nationtown TV. Hold on one second, family. And so we want to talk about a lot of the stuff that has been going on and taking place in the media, and as far as, the witch hunts that has been going on. We want to talk about the spiritual gangbanging and what divides us and why we can't come together, as a people. And, and we believe that these are very important topics and conversations at hand.
That's right.
And today I was watching the news. I was watching the media, and I was seeing, pardon me, hold on one second.
Yes, sir.
I was seeing on this news channel, there was a body language expert, and she was basically breaking down the body language of R. Kelly. And she was basically saying by his body language and his demeanor, she could tell that he was lying and he was guilty of what he was accused of just based on the man's body language, right?
Mm.
And we know that the media has a bad habit of portraying black men in the media as angry black men.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the brothers that I was watching this this news with the body language expert, I was showing him like, look, brother, now watch the games that they're trying to pull over. You know what I'm saying? If the brother is guilty of what he is guilty of, then there needs to be justice on this brother. But just also pay attention to where the media operates, right?
Yes, sir.
Are you hearing any feedback or anything as I'm talking?
It's clear, brother. 100%.
Okay, cool. So yeah, so she's basically saying, based on R. Kelly's body language, he's lying, right? And then, okay, so the guy, that was talking to her was basically was saying, well, what if he's just he's exploding like that because maybe they're accusing an innocent man of doing something that he didn't do, right? This is
Right.
the question that this man posed her, but she was just adamant that he was a liar. So I said, okay. So they showed the two white boys that was in Leaving Neverland. Those guys who was accusing Michael Jackson of committing child molestation on Wade Robson and James I can't Safechuck, James Safechuck. So they were so basically she was saying the way James was, sitting there all civil, he didn't really get out of character, that he was telling the 100% truth just based on his body language. Right? So I'm like, man, look at this. You know what I'm saying? So the black man, well, he's lying, R. Kelly's lying because he's a black man, but this white boy right here, basically he's telling the truth because he's white. So I'm showing my non-affiliate, my lost found brother that look at the media, that look how they portray us. So she
Right.
doubled down again. They talking about Jesse Smollett, the gay brother from Empire. So he said, well, what do you think about Jesse? Do you think that he's telling the truth on his situation? And she said, "Oh no, I just sat and did a 3 hour podcast about this, and no, he's lying all the way through and through." I said, "Wow, look at this." You know what I'm saying? So they're trying to portray in the media that black men tend to lie more than white men. So what are your thoughts on that, brother Landon?
Oh man, where do I start? Well, first of all, let's start with body language.
Right,
If we want to talk about body language, particularly when it comes to black and white, there's a book that I strongly recommend called Without Sanctuary.
right,
It's actually more of a picture book. And if you want to see some body language, go page to page in that book, because every page damn near has a picture of an innocent black victim swinging from a poplar tree, being burned at the stake, being maimed, being chained, being, just absolutely tortured.
right,
And some of the pictures are as recent as 30, 40 years ago. So that's body language for your ass.
right,
If you want to talk about body language. Also, when we talk about body language when it comes to someone being civil and telling the truth, one thing that I used to really study, and I still study it, because in the Nation of Islam, even though we don't participate in the political system with voting and whatnot, we should always be politically aware.
right,
If you go through the call newspaper, it touches on all the current political topics. But if you go to YouTube or any site that has, old footage, go look at some old footage of Ronald Reagan, who
right,
we know for a fact was a liar. He lied about the Iran-Contra affair. He lied about being basically the biggest dope dealer of the 1980s, when
right,
he basically went through a situation where he sent money to the Iran Contras, who then sent it back as cocaine, who then sent it back as money to the Contras, and that was basically the catalyst for the crack game that destroyed pretty much 70% of the black community in America. But
right.
when he was asked about it, he sat there, studious, well prepared, civilized, and he said, "I had no knowledge of the Iran Contra affair." And I mean,
Mm,
he looks so believable. And
right,
then later on, this is what they don't tell you about the big gippers, what they call them, is later on, right before he left office, he admitted that he knew more than he said he did. And Oliver North even admitted the same thing. Oliver North stood in front of a congressional committee,
right,
and he was studious, he was civilized, and he said, "I didn't know anything about the Iran Contra and any, moving dope from Nicaragua into South Central Los Angeles, and then later he admitted to that. If we want to talk about civilization again and being civil and being having good body language, let's go to Billy Slick Willie Bill Clinton. When he was
Right.
first asked about Monica Lewinsky, he said, "I did not have sexual relations with that woman."
Right.
And he said it. He looked right into the camera. He had that hand that he always talked with, and he looked so studious. He looked so civil. And then later on, he admitted that he lied. They even disbarred him. He can't even. He went to school to be a lawyer. He was a lawyer throughout most of his presidency, but you couldn't hire him as a lawyer now because he's disbarred for lying under oath.
Right.
So so I don't feel the body language, and that's why body language testimony is not really admissible in court. Hell, lie detector tests are not even admissible in court. So that's BS as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
Brother.
Right, absolutely, beloved. But see, them are the type of tricks and ploys that they try to use against us, because any of these other dudes that get interviewed and that are accused of the same crimes, they don't ever bring out a body language expert to see whether this individual was telling the truth or lying or not. But all of a sudden, they bringing out body language experts to see if these brothers are guilty or not. I mean, that determines if somebody is telling the truth or lying or not. When you all have been the biggest liars, you know what I'm saying? I think the Native Americans call y'all fork tongue because y'all say one thing and y'all mean something else. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And also, one thing about those who control the media, the Zionist Jews, they have what you call the Hasbara Project, and the Hasbara Project is basically based upon anything that's pro-Zionist. You know what I mean? So they don't give a damn. You know what I'm saying? That if they crucify our black men and women in the media, but if you say anything out of line, you know what I'm saying, about Zionism, about Jews, you know what I'm saying, you will be considered anti-Semitic. You know what I'm saying? What do you think about that, Brother Landon?
I mean, it kind of speaks for itself. As a very prominent woman in the Israeli government. I forgot her name, but Minister Tony has put it on blast. We put it on blast on Nationtown TV. She actually won an award in Israel, which was similar to their, she basically won a very prestigious award earlier in her career, but before she transitioned, before she died, she went on a liberal radio talk show here in the States, and she said the whole, claim of anti-Semitism is a trick.
Right.
And they use it whenever someone brings legitimate criticism of Zionists.
Right.
They use, you must be anti-Semitic.
Right.
You must be anti-Semitic. And, for me, we got to really get better. We got to get better at seeing that hidden hand, particularly in stories like this. When you're dealing with, what's funny is Bill Cosby, R. Kelly, and Michael Jackson. When was the last time Michael Jackson, even though he's the king of pop, he's probably the king of music.
Right.
But when was the last time he had a hit song?
Right.
Like Tupac, where he's still putting out an album every year. When was the last time he put out? When was the last time R. Kelly put out an album or a hit song? When was the last time Bill Cosby had a show? Why are they digging these people up right now, digging their careers up and putting them out there? It's not just about R. Kelly.
Right.
I didn't see R. Kelly on this many television shows and this many networks when his biggest hit was at the top of the charts, and that was I Believe I Can Fly.
Right.
I didn't see him being interviewed on Good Morning America. I didn't see any documentaries about how he got signed and how he got into the industry on major cable networks. Hell, you hardly saw him on MTV, because MTV before they became just another reality TV. They had just gotten to the point where they were showing a lot of love to black artists. The only black artist they showed in the 80s was Michael Jackson, and they, and his people had to pull a lot of strings for that to happen.
That's right.
But you didn't see that R. Kelly from white people and from mainstream media. Why do they care so much now? We got to ask these kind of questions. And why are all these things being brought to light, all these accusations at the same time?
Right.
At the same time. And then you hear some of the same names, some of the same lawyers, the same media outlets. I mean, it's kind of, it's interesting. And what we're doing is we take stuff like that body language expert, and I guarantee you, a sister saw that, and I gotta say, a sister, a female, a black woman, saw that, and she went to work that very next day and was like, "Girl, they brought out the body language expert
Mm.
because saw a white face and they saw somebody who called themselves an expert. You don't know nothing about this person.
Right.
I mean, if I go on TV and say I'm the heavyweight champ of the world, you ain't just gonna automatically believe it because I say it.
Right.
Then nobody asked to see her certification or to prove that she knew body language. But people take that and we run with it, and then and we fall for it.
Right.
It's on page 100. A Message to the Black Man. This book right here, page 100.
Go ahead.
Again, page 100. It says that Almighty God Allah is grieved and hurt to His heart.
Mm.
Allah, God is grieved to
Right.
His heart. So you got to be a man. He's grieved to His heart that we keep falling for the same traps that our enemy is setting for us, and we keep falling for it in the name of sensationalism, celebrity worship, and just drama. We too addicted to drama and filth, man.
Right.
I mean, every time they throw that out there, they know we eat it up, brother. They know we eat it up, and it's a huge part of their weaponry right now. And we gotta clean that up.
Absolutely, brother. And the thing is, when we talk about the hidden hand, we don't necessarily mean an actual hand, but we are talking about and describing those who control the media, control certain people, and have influence. And we want to know what their motives are. You know what I mean? And that's the biggest question that you raised just now is, you know what I'm saying, what is the motive? You know what I'm saying? Why would you assassinate a man, resurrect him just to assassinate him all over again? You know what I mean? Because some of our leaders, people like Brother Malcolm X, Martin Luther King Jr., the enemy assassinated them, but when they resurrected these brothers, they turned them into heroes. They made heroes out of them, although they hated these men were they alive. But damn, they hate Brother Michael Jackson so damn much that they assassinated him, resurrected him, and then they trying to assassinate the man's legacy again. You know what I mean? And is it because the brother has a $1 billion an estate that's worth billions of dollars? You know what I mean? Because quick question: did you get a chance to see the Neverland documentary?
No, sir.
Okay.
And I won't.
Right.
It's enough of the information that's kind of trickled around social media, and I just don't. I can't find it in my heart to spend my time. That's on a level of foolishness right up there with reality shows, and I can't even bring myself to watch some fictional movies because they just
Right.
look so ridiculous. And I knew, I see that hidden hand clearly. I see the veins in the hand. I see the
Right.
fingernails. I see all, figuratively speaking, of course. So when I see a program like that pop up, but nobody's done a documentary about the Pope, any of them.
Right.
Nobody's done a documentary about all of the Catholic priests. Nobody's done a documentary about this pedophile island that they have. With certain members of the elite Zionists in this world. Nobody's done anything about these things. Nobody said anything about all the thousands of black girls that are just missing. They
Right.
missing. They just gone. Nobody's talked about that. So when
Right.
they dig up a brother who was a good man, was he a perfect man? No, but show
No.
me one perfect man. Show me a perfect man. But he was a good brother. When they dig up my brother and try to destroy his legacy, I
Right.
see right through that. So I'm not and I won't be inspired to watch that.
Right. And
You
I don't
know,
blame you,
really,
brother. I don't
right.
blame you because I mean the stuff that they are accusing our brother of was very, very hard to listen to, and when listening to it, sound. I mean, it was like to me, it was like a bad version of surviving R. Kelly. You know what I'm saying? But this time it was some little feminized white boys who basically sound like they was in love with Michael Jackson. I'm not talking about a fan and a celebrity type love. I'm talking about boyfriend and girlfriend type love. You know what I mean? It was very disgusting, brother. Very sickening. And the question is like this man has been gone 10 years. Wade Robson, right, had a couple opportunities to come out and say, yeah, Michael Jackson, you know what I'm saying, touched me when I was a child. Once as a child, he denied it. And as a grown man, he held his wife's hands walking to the courtroom, Brother Landon, in criminal court, and
Hmm.
went on the stand and testified and said Michael Jackson didn't do it as a grown man. You know what I'm saying? As a grown man, I can't see myself afraid of somebody like Michael Jackson.
Yes,
You know what
sir.
I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
So, I mean, what really kept you from actually, you know what I'm saying, exposing this man if he really did what you say he did? You know what I'm saying? And James Safechuck, Michael bought his family a house and he was taking care of these dudes. So, I mean, are they coming out now because he's gone and the money is gone as well?
Let me ask you a quick question, dear brother.
Yes, sir.
You said you said James Safechuck, right?
Right.
Let me ask you an honest question.
Yes,
Had
sir.
you ever heard that name prior to watching Leaving
No,
Neverland?
sir. Absolutely not.
What about the other name, Wade Robinson? Had you ever heard that name?
The name I've never heard the name, but I've definitely seen him on TV before. But the name, no sir.
Now let me ask you this:
Right.
Have you ever heard? Have you ever heard the name Macaulay Culkin from Home
Absolutely.
Alone?
Absolutely.
Macaulay Culkin was one of Michael Jackson's, child friends,
Right.
and he's still producing movies. He's still acting. His brothers act. They knew Michael.
Right.
You know, in the Nation of Islam out here in Mosque 27, we
Right.
know. You, we know
Absolutely.
brothers who, and nobody, none of them are saying anything negative.
Right.
And the reason is because they have their own lives. They take care of themselves. Michael wasn't taking care of them. He wasn't, he wasn't their only lifeline, their only way to pay their bills,
Right.
and so they have no reason to try to extort his legacy, extort his estate, and they've already been famous. They've already did our thing in the Nation of Islam. We ain't trying to be famous anyway.
Right.
We did what we needed to do. We secured a lot of celebrities. We did what we
Right.
needed to do for Mike, and real celebrities don't have time for this foolishness unless it's really true. So
Right.
that's why you don't see the Corey Hames and the Macaulay Culkin saying anything. Same thing with R. Kelly. And I don't want to disrespect those sisters because I don't know the 100% truth.
Right.
But I find it interesting that these celebrities who've been around other huge celebrities in private moments, but you can't find any equally famous, equally successful, celebrities to speak out against them when
Right.
those celebrities, because usually when somebody is down in the industry, everybody kicks them, and it ain't
Right.
no problem. It's easy
Right.
to kick somebody that's already down. But R. Kelly's down. Michael Jackson is literally down. He's dead. He's 6 feet under, and they throwing stones at him. Why aren't any equally, successful people coming out the woodwork and saying, you know what, I agree with this Safe Chuck dude. I agree with this dude and that dude. Yeah, he was weird. He did this and did that to the children. You don't see that. So these are
Right.
opportunists. These are opportunists, but like it says in our lessons in the Nation of Islam, our supreme wisdom lesson, we take them at face value. And that's a double entendre. Because when you take something at face value, that means you take it and believe it without doing the proper research.
Right.
But it also, in my humble opinion, it has a double entendre meaning because we take it at
Mm.
face value,
Right.
meaning this color face, not this color.
Right.
Because when we see this, or if we see some this color setting up this color to say a certain thing, we always believe it. So that's it's just like in our lessons, we taking them at face value, and that's why I don't entertain that kind of stuff and watch it,
Right.
because I know everybody's talking about it anyway. So I'm gonna hear certain details and aspects of it, but I don't entertain it or give it my time,
And
because like I said, I
right.
see the hand, I see that
Right.
hidden hand.
And that's what Nationtown does. We don't always like to jump on every little topic, every little wave just because somebody else is doing it. Sometimes we like to
Right.
redirect that energy into something more positive. And to all of the viewers, this is the very first time where we have done Nationtown TV live on Facebook and YouTube. So to all
Go
of
ahead.
my brothers and sisters that are on YouTube, you can go to Nationtown TV on Facebook. We have a we have you can go on there and you can like and you can subscribe to that on Facebook and follow that. And we also have Nationtown TV community group. I believe we have a group on there as well to where you can post, comment, and all positivity. That's all we dealing with. And brothers and sisters, you can also, if you're on Facebook, you can go to Nationtown TV YouTube and Malcolm Flex TV YouTube as well. So we can kind of try to build this movement so it won't be a moment and it'll be a movement. But also
Right.
we had another topic to where we wanted to talk about spiritual gangbanging. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
Because a lot of times we have a lot of brothers and sisters who belong to a certain faith and a certain denomination and basically do not want to unite with their own brothers and sisters because I'm a Muslim and you a Christian, or you a Christian. I'm a Christian and you a Muslim. You a Buddhist. You a Hindu. I'm a Kemite. You know what I'm saying? I'm a Hindu. You know what I'm saying? I'm this, I'm that. You know what I mean? Instead of coming together and showing forth some real unity among us as a people. Because the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said that he don't want to talk religion until we receive some type of liberation. You know what I mean? What's your thoughts, Brother Landon?
Well, honestly, brother, I think those two topics are one and the same.
Right,
When you talk hidden hand, and then you talk about disunity in the black community, those two things go hand in hand, because that, no pun intended, but that hidden hand is one of the most, I guess you could say that's one of the most operative things when it comes to our disunity, because we allow that hidden hand. For example, I'll just give you a very clear example. As believers and soldiers, FOI in the Nation of Islam, we have what they call a national product, a gross national product,
right,
final call crews. And when we out there pushing the program, as we call it, the FCN, final call news, number one news not controlled by the Jews, one of the most common questions we run into, I ain't even got to say it.
right,
Man, I heard you killed Malcolm.
right.
Now, who put that in their head? Now, did they do the research themselves?
Mm,
Did they look into it? I mean, they can't say, okay, I read autobiography of Malcolm, because contrary to popular belief, he does not say. If you read the whole book, by the
mm-hmm,
end of the book, by the end of his part of the book, because he lived to finish the book,
right,
Alex Haley actually finishes the book. But before he is assassinated, he says, now I realize, and I'm paraphrasing, that it may not be the black Muslims
mm,
that are after. And he realized that when he was poisoned in the Middle East, and he saw FBI agents following him around, and that and
right,
that was also put on blast in the movie
right,
Malcolm X. So, and he also said after he left the messenger that the Nation of Islam is the greatest organization ever known to the black man.
right,
So they didn't get that from Malcolm. They didn't get that from his autobiography. They didn't get that from the movie, because there's some facts in the movie that go against that. What they got that from is the hidden hand. They got
absolutely,
that from COINTELPRO. They got that from the media. They got that from Mike Wallace. They got that from NBC, CBS. They got that from the FBI.
right,
And I just want to point something real quick. In the messenger, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad said, "Observe the operations of the white man. he is successful.
Right.
He's successful in devilishment, but he's successful nonetheless. And when one thing that he focuses on, he is a studious beast. He is a studious, wicked beast.
Right.
And it's a lot. It's very easy to study something when you created it. They created, or I should say,
Mm. Great
they
point.
made the they made the nigga, and they constantly study the nigga. Like,
Mm.
I'm sure Steve Jobs, before he passed away, even though he essentially invented the iPhone, he was constantly tinkering with it and studying it and trying to find ways to do stuff like, add to Siri and to do different little things to
Right.
it because it's his creation, so it's easier for him to do. The FBI have something called behavioral analysis.
Mm-hmm.
It's the inspiration for the television show Criminal Minds. Now, what they tell us is that they do this in order to profile serial killers, rapists, murderers. But really, what that's for is to profile us.
Right.
See, they know what we think, they know what we're going through, they know what we think about each other, and they
Mm.
know it better than anybody because they're the reasons that we think those things. They're
Great
the
point.
reasons we feel that way about each other. So they follow the way we act. And now, and I'm gonna close with this on this particular point. When you think about it, every piece of technology, particularly electronic technology, that has ever been invented, particularly in the last 100 years,
Right.
it has advanced by stages and degrees to the point where it's become easier and easier to manipulate without even touching it.
Mm.
For example, you went from the turn dial on the television to now, then they had the remote control.
Right.
Now you got it, you can just talk to your TV and it'll turn to a channel. You
Right.
got Siri on iPhone. You got voice control cars. You got
Mm.
cars that drive themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where we are now. We are Wi-Fi niggas. We are
Damn.
via satellite
Teach.
Negroes. We are hands-free buffoons, coons, and buck dancing Negroes. We hands-free now. We on Wi-Fi status now. Where even if a brother is certain manner of intelligence or knowledge, he's still just gonna use that to be a coon and a nigga and to hate his own. And
Right.
they know that, so they continue to perpetuate that and tinker with our niggerdom. And
Mm.
that's what we're talking about. That hidden hand there, brother. Yes, sir.
Oh yes, sir. And Dr. Wesley Muhammad also said it good like that as well, man. The uh, the nigga is the white man's Frankenstein. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? He said that only the white man make niggas, but he said God don't make niggas. God make man. You know what I mean?
Right.
And just to kind of touch on the Malcolm situation, I just recently did a video a couple days ago, um, basically revealing the ages and the birth dates of the wives of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. So anybody that is accusing the Honorable Elijah Muhammad of sleeping with teenage secretaries, they can go to my YouTube page and the title of the video was called Malcolm X and the Wives of the Messenger. Numbers don't lie. Why? Because Islam is mathematics and mathematics is Islam. So your brother did the diligent research and found the birthdays of the wives of the messenger and the birthdays of their children coordinating with the mothers, letting you know that all of these sisters were above 20 years old when they had their children.
Go ahead.
You know what I
And
mean? Go ahead, beloved.
and that's man, and I saw that, man, and that's beautiful work, brother. But man, I gotta say this.
Go ahead.
They just recently, about 4 years ago, released the FBI files on Michael Jackson. And while it includes a litany of allegations against Michael, and I mean literal allegations, what charges that were brought up,
Right.
it concludes that none of those charges were proven.
Right.
And you know how the FBI works. When they put
Oh, definitely.
when they put their crosshairs on you, brother, they come after you
And they
from
got
every
some. Right.
angle.
Right.
And they couldn't find anything on Mike. So when I think about Malcolm, his files have been available by the Freedom of Information Act for going on almost 40 years. It's
Right.
creeping up on 40 years.
Right.
It's been available about as long as I've been alive, longer than I've been alive, actually. So, so when I think about Michael and the fact that his information, his files have only been out for 4 years,
Mm-hmm.
it's not very likely that our people are going to actually read it and research it
Right.
because hell, damn near 40 years they ain't sat down and read one page of Malcolm's file.
Right.
So when you own Wi-Fi nigga status, brother Alfonso,
Wi-Fi nigga
when you
status. I love that
when you on
one.
free buffoon status, when you on via satellite self-hate status,
Right.
you not you're not looking for facts, brother. You looking for a fight, and you looking to cause trouble among the righteous, telling
Mm-hmm.
lies
Right.
because you're following the mind of your oppressor and your slave
Absolutely.
masters.
Absolutely.
Beyond I hate to, I don't want to throw my brothers and sisters away, but in that condition, they're beyond help. What they
Mm-hmm.
have to do is come out of that mind and come out of that condition, because you can
That's
bring them
real.
all in the
That's real.
world. I mean, Betty Shabazz, may Allah be pleased with her. Her working with the minister for years before she passed away. They
Right.
had the fund at Apollo Theater. She was
Mm-hmm.
one of the few women who were invited to the Million Man March. Now, there was a lot of women who came anyway, but she was one
Right.
of the handful that was actually invited. And she sat there and she was bearing witness the whole time. You can go watch the video on YouTube. She
Right.
loved the minister.
Right.
Now, she was in her years. I read an article about her life in the early years following Brother Minister Malcolm's death, and
Right.
she went through some hard times
Right. Oh yeah.
because
Yes,
it
sir.
yeah, it wasn't until about 3 or 4 years after he died that she started to make money off the autobiography and other
Right.
things.
And she went
She
back
was
to
really
school
doing.
as well.
Yeah, she went back to school and she had all those little girls and she was struggling, man. So she went through an emotional struggle, a financial struggle, I'm sure a spiritual struggle, because she was a lost found before she came into the teaching. She
Right.
wasn't born in the nation as we call it today. So I know she probably had times when she doubted her Islam.
Mm-hmm.
So if she went through that, if she had it in her heart that the Muslims or the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan had anything to do with her husband's death, do you think
She
she'd
wouldn't
be
have been
sitting
there.
there him
No, sir.
at the Million?
No, sir.
Come on, man. See, so that lets you know that these are what the Holy Quran calls asses or donkeys with books tied to their back. A lot of
Go
these
ahead.
brothers who call themselves, woke or conscious,
Right.
because when facts are brought to them, if you really woke and facts are brought to you,
Right.
no matter what you thought yesterday, you kill that. You drop that. You say, you know what, I thought this
Good
way
teaching.
today, but then facts were brought to my attention. So now I don't think that way anymore. That's when you really woke, when you really conscious. So
Right.
that shows they really just half dead niggas with books tied to their back.
Right.
That's all they are.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. And man, and student minister Tony spoke to me, you know what I mean, about, the controversy between the nation and everybody else in the black conscious community, because, everybody want to take shots at the nation. And he told me, he told you as well, you know what I'm saying, and told several other of us who are young Muslims on social media, told us, to be careful and not engage these individuals into debates. You know what I mean? Just hurl truth and falsehood. Bring the facts. Teach. You know what I'm saying? Don't get into mudslinging contests. You know what I mean? And that's what Nationtown TV is really all about. You know what I'm saying? Bringing the truth. You know what I'm saying? Bringing facts, bringing information. You know what I mean? We've been doing Nationtown TV for how long, Brother Landon?
Oh man, we coming this inshallah, this I believe October or November will be the 2 year anniversary, dear brother. All
Praise be
praises
to
to
Allah.
Allah.
It don't even seem
Over
like it's been 2 years.
started from the bottom, now we here, over 3,200 followers and growing rapidly by the grace of Allah. Special shout out to my queen, to my wife.
Praise be to
She's
Allah.
see the hidden here in the Nationtown
That
TV in a
part.
good way.
That part.
Way.
That
She
part.
always she grinding. A lot of times when you see things posted on Nationtown TV, it ain't your brother, it's her. So shout out to her. But the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, we just came out of Savior's Day. Happy Savior's Day to all the believers out
Happy
there.
Savior's Day, family.
Yes, sir. Nation of Islam, registered and unregistered. But Savior's Day before last, Savior's Day 2018, the minister made a very important declaration that deals with that can be considered in this topic. He said that if you're not, and I'm paraphrasing, if you're not in a military line organization,
Mm,
then you're essentially wasting your time.
right.
And and we are at a point as black people because the devil's world is falling off. In fact, it's already off. All we
Right.
got to do is stand and put the crown on. We scared to put the crown on. But one of the reasons why we can't put the crown on is because we're not walking with militancy. I don't care what you believe. I
Right.
don't care if you're Muslim, if you're a Christian, you Kemetic, or whatever. If you're a Hebrew Israelite, whatever you call yourself,
Right.
you gotta walk with militancy. We have
Right.
a general order in the Nation of Islam to talk to no one. It's our seventh general order to talk
Mm-hmm.
to no one, only except
Line of duty.
in the line
Line
of
of
duty.
duty.
So and what that means is be careful who you're talking to and who you're giving information to, because you
Right.
don't know if they're gonna use it. And more
Right.
than likely, if your enemies are in your presence or they're listening in any way, shape, or form, they're gonna use it against you. So be
Absolutely.
careful with the words and who you saying it around. Be careful about talking. Just hurl truth at falsehood.
Mm-hmm.
Hurl truth at falsehood. But what we do is that we let our feelings get the best of us. We have this. We really, a lot of us, to be honest, brother Alfonso,
Yes, sir.
we whether we have on fringes as a Hebrew Israelite, a bow tie as a
Mm-hmm.
Muslim, a cross around our neck as a Christian, we really still have grave clothes on, as it talked about Lazarus in
Absolutely.
Scripture.
Absolutely.
Still have our grave clothes on, so we still essentially niggas. So we have the
Mm-hmm.
same, misguided, mentality of a gangbanger, of
Mm-hmm.
a crip, of a blood, the GD of a vice lord, but we doing it with this dirty religion,
Right.
not Christianity, not Islam, but this dirty religion that we manufactured in the
Mm-hmm.
recesses of our own, white-minded mind,
Right.
and we basically doing the same thing that a gangbanger does, riding on a nigga on some property that neither one of them own. That's the
Right.
mentality of a gang. We do the same thing in the name of some type of school of thought, and
Mm.
then we have to look at a gangbanger and say, "Oh man, why y'all killing each other? Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that?" Well,
Man, go
Negro,
ahead.
come on, man.
And that's why so many people are leaving religion right now, because too many of us who say that we are a part of a religion got one foot in the grave and another foot on a banana peel. You know what I mean? And people are leaving these different religions because you got so many people who are wax dogmatic. You know what I mean? If you ain't this, you going to hell. If you ain't this, you know what I'm saying, you wrong. You know what I mean? But one thing that I can say about Islam is that Islam is the religion, the true religion of Christ. Why do I say
Right.
that? Because in Christ there is no Gentile, no Jew, no male and no female. The Christ comes to unite all the religions. You know what I mean? He doesn't come to condemn you to hell just because you believe a certain kind of way. And we do that to one another. You know what I mean? And we don't look no better, as you said, than Crips and Bloods going at one another. But we just, at right in this stage, we not shooting at each other right now. But I mean, some of that even has gone on. You know what I mean? Some of that has happened. You know, it had been scraps between Muslims and Hebrew Israelites, this group and that group. You know, but like you said, beloved, we need to become soldiers. We need to have a military mindset to where, regardless of our disagreements, we have an objective. You know what I'm saying? We have certain goals and certain things that we need to accomplish as a people, and we can't allow our emotions to take us off the right path. And that's why the messenger and the minister teaches us to rise above emotions into the thinking of God, because a lot of us are very emotional, and a lot of us have very big egos. We got a lot of pride, and we don't like to humble ourselves. So when we hear right guidance, when we hear truth, or you know what I'm saying, we struggle with these things. You know what I mean? Little basic things. Well, they may seem basic to us, but they're not as basic to our other brothers and sisters. But I mean, humility is a major factor, and that's one thing that many of us are missing.
That's right. And you know, and I never understood how people who have so little have so much arrogance and pride when we get just a morsel of knowledge. But you brought something to my mind that, man, Allah don't operate in coincidence.
Right.
But earlier today, dear brother, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Earlier today, I was reading this beautiful book, The Invincible Truth. These are writings from the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, compiled by our brother Demetric Muhammad.
Right.
Man, this is a
Great
powerful
read.
two valuable book. But it goes right with what you were just saying, dear brother, about Islam. Islam, not only does it mean complete, submission to the will of Allah,
That's
but
right.
it also means peace. So I'm gonna read something real quick, if I may, dear brother,
Yes,
from
sir.
the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. He says, and I quote, "The significance of the name Islam is peace. The true religion, it is a religion of eternal peace. We can't imagine Allah God offering to us a religion other than one of peace. A religion of peace coming to the righteous after the destruction of the wicked is also mentioned in several places in the Bible. And Psalms, if you read Psalms 29:11, it says, the Lord will bless his people, so-called Negroes, with peace. Of course, it doesn't say so-called Negroes, but it says it will bless his people with peace. Also, he will speak unto his people and to his saints. That's Psalms 85:8. And
Right.
also, the Lord will give you peace always. That's in 2 Thessalonians 3:16. And when we talk about militant and discipline with a military mind, you know, whether you're a Hebrew Israelite, a Muslim, but if you understand the Holy Quran and the Bible, in fact, I can't think of any respectable religion or school of thought that does not respect or have some type of militancy in it. I mean, in the book of Exodus, I believe it's 18 and 25, it talks about Moses chose captains out of the capable people, and he made rulers of thousands, rulers of hundreds, rulers of fifties,
Right.
rulers of ten.
Right.
I mean, in the story of the 12 spies in Deuteronomy in the book of Numbers, the 12 spies, that was a squad, as we call it in the
Right.
FOI. And
Facts.
those were lieutenants and captains. Joshua was a captain. You know,
Right.
Caleb, he was a lieutenant. You know, it was military, conduct and military structure in the
Right.
days and in the words of the Bible. And of course, in the Holy Quran, you have Surah 47, which is named Muhammad, but it also has a secondary name, which is war.
Right.
Then you have Surah 37, Al Safat, which means those ranging in ranks.
Right.
And then Al Saf, which is ranks. And then you had Surah 61, well, that was Surah 61. Then you had Surah 33, Al Azab, the allies. And
Right.
then Al Fat, Surah 48, which is victory. So in our lessons, in our religions that we say we believe, even the Kemetic brothers and sisters. I mean,
Right.
look at Egypt, man. You would be foolish to think that in Kemet that they can rule the way they ruled without military discipline. So
Absolutely.
as black, we have
Absolutely.
to be able to, like I said earlier, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad said, observe the operations of
Gracious
the
of the
white
white
man.
man for your successor.
Absolutely. Now, in the United States of America, the United States military has always been predominantly what they call, from a political standpoint, a conservative institution,
Right.
meaning most of the high-ranking officers in the United States military vote Republican,
Mm.
all Republican.
Right.
However, when there is a Democratic president, hell, even a black Democratic president like Barack Obama, when he come off that Air Force One, they got strong salutes.
Right.
and they wait until he returns that salute before they drop it down.
Right.
And whatever he says, when he made that terrible decision to kill our brother Muammar Gaddafi, may Allah be pleased, when he made that call, they went with it. If he would have made a call for them to go after anybody, if he would have said kill Mickey Mouse, they would have chopped Mickey Mouse head off so damn quick.
Right.
If he would have said go get her, they would have went and got open. Whatever he would have called for,
Right.
they salute him and they follow orders because they have military discipline, regardless of what their philosophy is.
Right.
And that's something that Negroes can't get in our head.
Right.
We gotta come in unity, settle on the best parts, the parts that we agree on, because we all agree on 80% at least
Right.
of all the issues. Operate on that and then have some discipline and not let our enemy pick us apart by playing with our minds and pitting us against
But you make a great point, and I want to give an example to the viewers of what brother is talking about, because he made me remember something that's very important. And then I'm gonna give an example of what black people do. Okay, there was a situation in Los Angeles where there was a brother by the name of Keith Ratt who was murdered by the Los Angeles sheriffs. Okay, and we have a brother in the ranks and who was from this neighborhood. This was in the Rolling 60 neighborhood in Los Angeles, South Central California. And this brother, he was murdered for trying to run from them, and they shot the brother in the back. Okay, so they asked the FOI to come out and secure the candlelight visual because the family wanted to come out and mourn this young brother. So, of course, we agreed to go out. We got our final call newspapers, and we got our, we suits and bow ties. So we there securing them. And the police, some people didn't like that all those brothers and sisters were out there. So somebody called the police on them. So police pulled up in squad cars, 10 to 15 cars deep. Couple helicopters was out, and they saw the FOI. And so because the brothers from Rolling 60s were getting a little belligerent, they were getting upset that the police was coming in a threatening manner the way that they did. So the police, instead of approaching those brothers, they approached us. You know what I'm saying? Me and the brother that used to be from Rolling 60s, they approached us. Because a soldier recognized a soldier. And they know who the FOI are. You know what I mean? We didn't been in the situations. So they know to not just come guns blazing. So they approached me and the brother, and they said, look, we don't want to take anybody to jail or anything like that. And we know this is your people, so we're going to ask you to talk to your people and see if they can leave right now. They can come back later on, but we getting calls from them that there's, making disturbances. Can you ask them to leave for now? Okay? So me and the brother went to the rest of the homies. You know what I'm saying? These are all Crips. We went to the rest of the homies, and this brother, he grew up in this neighborhood. He used to be an OG from this neighborhood, his well-known brother. So he went up to his former homies. He's in the nation now, but he went up to his former homies, and he was letting them know that the police was asking them to leave, and they can come back later on to mourn the brother that was murdered by the sheriffs. You know what I'm saying? Just, just as long as y'all leave, y'all can come back. But just for now, just go for now. So you had a brother who was a part of the RBG movement. And shout out to them brothers, because I love them brothers. I know many of those brothers. But this particular brother was from the RGB movement, right? Now, in the Nation of Islam, we teach that only one man speak. When we out among the people, only one man speak. Okay, but this RGB brother who's supposed to be a militant doesn't even understand that basic principle of one man speak. So as brother is speaking to his former homeboys, you have this RGB brother breaking rank, saying things like, oh yeah, this is they hood. Why they gotta go anywhere? You know what I'm saying? F the police. You know what I'm saying? Right, the police is right there. Screw the police. F y'all, man. They ain't got to go nowhere. This is their hood. Basically, exciting them brothers even more to act the bigger fool than they was already acting. But one of the triple OGs from Rolling 60s, you know what I'm saying, got upset because, you know, those are his little homies that were acting crazy. So he said, man, he told the RGB brother, he said, wait, you talking to the brother in the nation who was a former 60 member? He said, you talking to this brother like he's a buster in his hood. He said, matter of fact, dude, we don't even know you. Why are you over here, you know what I'm saying, running your mouth and you ain't even from this hood? You know, so the brothers, the homies was getting ready to jump the RGB brother because he broke rank and he didn't understand the principle of one man speak. You know, and that's what our people have to understand, that the wisest among us should be the one that's doing the talking. You know what I'm saying? And right now, and at this stage in time, this point in time, I don't know, me personally, I don't know anybody that's out on, in the forefront that's wiser than the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. You know what I mean? And if we can all just let one man speak, you know what I'm saying, and lead us and guide us in the right direction, I think we'll be better off than where we are now.
Absolutely, absolutely. But when you look at, and I completely agree with everything you're saying, but when you look at everything that's taking place, particularly in our generation in the
Right.
last 30 to 40 years, the deepest underlying, like our Western Regional Student Minister Tony Muhammad,
Right.
what he teaches us that he's learned from a very valuable technology is that pain becomes cellular after a certain amount of time and
Great
after
point.
some years.
Right.
Cellular. And also the weapons formed against us by our open enemy become cellular after a while. When you look at the prison industrial complex, when you look at the poverty that we live in, last hired, first fired, when you look at, just how we were done with the crack epidemic, used like guinea pigs going all the way back to Tuskegee,
Right.
all of that led to a special brand of self-hate that makes it impossible for many of us to actually take instructions or orders from another black man. We
Great point.
still sitting around waiting on some benevolent white man to become president and give us a crumb or two so
Right.
we can feel like human beings. In fact, like I always say, and I know I ruffle some feathers when I say it, I hate, while I respect some of the things that brothers who carry this moniker have done, I'm not a big fan of the term Black Lives Matter because it's essentially a prayer to white people to respect and have value for our lives.
Right.
When the only people who need to value our lives is God and us, which
Right.
is one and the same. You understand? So it's not surprising when we have a problem following another black man, regardless of his scholarship, because we've been taught not to respect the black man, just
Right.
like white people don't respect the black man.
Right.
It boiled their blood to see a black man in the White House, even though that black man essentially did everything they wanted him to do.
Right.
But they just hated the fact that he was a black man because they put their mind into ours.
Right.
So we're operating with their mind. We're operating with the way they operate. And I'll say this again, when you talk about, military conduct and just being militant, especially in a situation like that, dear brother,
Right.
when you look at these schools of thought, like RBGs, like you said, those brothers, I got love for them brothers. I got love for any black person who has any semblance of pride
Right.
and in their heart to want to do something for their people.
Right.
But we gotta understand that it's deeper than just picking up a gun. It's deeper than putting on a beret. It's deeper than putting on fatigues. It's deeper than a bow tie. It's deeper than a headpiece. It's deeper than having on fringes, man. You got to have construct. And I'm gonna give you another LA example
Right.
that goes over a lot of people's heads. Some people who've been born and raised here, they did something absolutely wicked during the 1992 uprising, which is
Right.
feloniously known as the LA riots.
Right.
Now, I understand the absolute pain in black people's hearts here in LA at that time, because it really wasn't about Rodney King. It had more to do with Latasha Harlins than Rodney King. Rodney King came
Right.
healed that, and that was just like the last straw, and the city exploded, or better yet, South Central exploded.
Right.
But here's what they did. After football and them, went upside Reginald Denny's head, dragged him out that. I ain't making fun of it, but it was kind of funny. They did a skit about it on Living Color with Jim Carrey. It was kind of funny. But around that time, South Central exploded.
Right.
But here's what the police department did. The police chief at the time, he got word from somebody over his head, and it wasn't the governor, it wasn't the mayor at the time, Bradley, who was a brother who was about to run for governor. It wasn't him, but somebody over their head sent for the LAPD to pull away from South Central and instead create a perimeter around South Central to make sure that that violence didn't get to Beverly Hills and Orange County,
right.
California and all that. Because here's what they were doing. They were playing the long game. They were showing military discipline. They said, here's what these Negroes going to do. They're going to tear up this city from damn near downtown, from Koreatown, all the way to South Central.
Right.
And they're going to tear it up so much that the property value that's already low is going to get so low that eventually, well, we're going to come in, we're going to gentrify these neighborhoods, we're going to move them out to Lancaster, we're going to build new stadiums, new arenas, and look what happened. That gave you the Staples Center, that gave you eventually, that shut down the Great Western Forum, and now they got a huge football stadium about to go up. They got Bank of America Stadium, that soccer stadium, and now in the area that they used to call the Jungle, which was the heart of South Central violence.
Right.
One time, you can little white boys and white girls walking their poodles in that area.
Right.
So that's playing the long game. That's what happens when you have military discipline.
Right.
They said, listen, we ain't gonna sit here and fight with these black folks that's tearing down their own stuff.
Right.
We gonna pull back, make sure they don't mess up none of our stuff, and they're gonna bring the property value down so low that in 15, 20, 30 years, you won't even recognize South Central, because we'll have it all taken care of, and they'll be somewhere in the mountains somewhere fighting fires in Lancaster and getting snowed on.
Man,
you got black people who was born in South Central dealing with snow up in Lancaster.
Right.
See, they saw all of this coming. We in our neutral state, we write history 25,000 years in advance.
Come on.
See, this white man who is a baby version of us in our best state, he knows how to write history after it happens, or maybe 20, 30 years in advance.
Right.
He's creeping on what we used to be, but now we so reactive. We have this reactive mind. We so far away from our Asiatic ways that now, we don't see the 10 steps, 20 steps, 30 steps ahead. And that only comes with military discipline.
Beautiful.
Yes.
All praises be to Allah. This brother's teaching right now. And family, we will attempt to do a show, a Nationtown show every week. So if you can, please tune in. If this is your first time watching Nationtown TV with Brother Landon X Collins, as you all can see, this brother is profound. This has been my brother, my co-host for over almost 2 years on Nationtown TV. Very, very brilliant brother. And his wife is also brilliant, Sister Shauna Joy. She does an amazing job helping our dear brother and helping us here at Nationtown TV. So if you can, please go to Facebook and type in Nationtown TV and follow us there. And also the Nationtown group that's on Facebook as well, family. So with that being said, we're going to cut this short today, and so we hope you appreciated this show, this episode of Nationtown TV. Dear Brother Landon, would you like to have the last words, beloved?
Man, with all that said, I ain't gonna let you just build me up, brother. I gotta give a special shout out to Brother Malcolm Blacks.
Praise be to Allah.
Man, this brother been grinding so hard, man, with the content, with the beautiful intros, and touching on these topics that a lot of other people are scared to deal with and plumb the depths of. The Honorable
Mm-hmm.
Minister Louis Farrakhan said that many of us, his followers, are slow to plumb the depths of the knowledge that he's given us. But man,
Mm.
I bear with that brother Malcolm Flex, aka better known as Brother Alfonso X, is plumbing the depths of this devil, plumbing the depths of our godhood, man,
Man,
brother, and I
praise be to
respect that and
Allah.
I salute that, this brother. And also, I mean, not only are we going to try to do this consistently, but we have executive instructions from our
Absolutely.
Western region minister to be more consistent. He got on us to save his day, been getting on us for a minute. Brothers, y'all got to do this. We got to put it out here. It's a brand that the people respect. We went from 0 to 3,200 followers in less than 2 years, man. We just grinded and we putting the nation first and we putting our people first. It ain't about me as no personality. It ain't about Brother Malcolm Flex or
Right,
Alfonso. It's just
right,
about doing it. And also, we got cousins too. Shout out to Liberated Sister Charlene
right,
Muhammad.
right.
All the believers, man. Nationtown, we got a family now. We got cousins, man. We got second cousins, third cousins.
Praise be to
You
Allah.
know,
NFA Studios,
NFA
the
Studios. Come on,
loft.
man. Sleeping head to foot like we used to in Grandma's house, man. We got
Right.
cousins now. All
All,
praises due to
all
Allah.
praises due to Allah, family. So again, this is our brother Landon. Next College will be back on next week with another hot topic, and also be sure to check him out on Nationtown TV this weekend with student minister Tony. Will Sister Shauna be on as well, or it just be you and Minister Tony?
Yes, sir. If she don't get rid of me, man, between now and tomorrow night, brother, she gonna be on.
Praise be to
Yes, sir.
Allah. Yes, sir. Yeah, and go and check the last show that he did with his wife. What was the name of it again, beloved?
It was part one of the revolution of black marriage, and on Friday nights we always touch on the final call cover story,
Right,
and this week dealing with the final call cover story that's dealing with that topic that we kind of dealt with today about the false charge of anti-Semitism and
right.
how nobody can say anything against Israel and the Zionists. So definitely check out the latest issue of the Final Call News, and we're gonna touch on that a little bit tomorrow, as well as part two of the revolution and the necessity of black relationships and black marriage, part two, tomorrow night with Western Regional Student Minister Tony Muhammad. He don't want me to call him the foremost no more. He said, leave that to the minister. So I'm
Right.
gonna call him everything under the sun but the four. I will find ways to build up my student minister one way or the other. That's
Right,
my
yeah.
student minister, man. That's my big brother,
Very
and we
humble
love
brother.
him. He go all those out there that's interested in being better husbands, better wives, and just getting a husband, getting a wife. And also a special shout out to brother Malcolm Flex,
Yes,
his
sir.
day single man,
Go
numbered.
ahead.
I ain't gonna put his business
Go
out there,
ahead.
but
No,
it's
go
all,
ahead, brother. Go ahead.
congratulations, brother. Welcome to the team, brother. You
Yes,
you
sir.
once in heaven.
Yes, sir.
You around from heaven, dear brother. So
Yes, sir.
congratulations to you.
Thank you, brother.
Congratulations, wonderful MGT striving wife. Come on
Praise be
now.
to Allah. Go ahead,
You right
Landon.
around the corner from heaven, brother. Don't jump out the car at the last minute, bro.
No, sir. No, sir. I'm not about to get ran over that way. But we gonna end this, family. Thank you again, brother Landon. We gonna do this next week. Get together next week, beloved. And this is your both of your hosts, Malcolm Flex TV and brother Landon X Collins. And we out. Assalamu alaikum.
Yes, sir. Wa alaikum salam.